All right. Shitty camera today because no, there's no light. The lights in the car are just like broken. So that's cool. Um, I was just home because, well, to be completely frank, um, I was getting, I ordered some stuff to be delivered to my house because I don't know, bro. They didn't deliver to my school and it was like weird, whatever. And completely honest with you guys, it's like stuff to ascend. It's like daily sunscreen, which is like supposed to be really good. It's like some like Asian skincare, and then like some stuff for my eye bags. And it's like I'm trying to ascend. Okay. Um. Anyways, what does little old me want to talk about today? Okay. Taking a philosophy class right now. It's very cool, whatnot. It's very interesting. And, one thing we're learning is about what a moral theory is and then what a value theory is. A moral theory, from what I understand, is just a kind of a way to live your life by, like a guiding principle that places value onto something, which is the value theory. The value theory is saying why we should value certain things. Okay? We've learned about a couple, like hedonism and John Stuart Mill's, about like how pleasure and the absence of pain should be like are the only things to place value on. Those are the only things of value. And other people like Kant who argue that community and being connected are also things to be valued. Now, that's cool and all. I could talk for hours about what they about if I agree or disagree or blah 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 and if blah 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 blah. Right. Now, I think naturally the next question is, well, Immanuel Kant said this, and John Stuart Mill said that, and Jean-Jacques Rousseau said this. Now, naturally what the world is wondering is, what does Malloch Allison think? And that's what today's video is going to be about. Now, I really wish we had some lighting, because you guys, this is basically like a podcast episode, I guess, because you can barely even see my face. So, what is my value theory and what is my moral theory? Now this is obviously a difficult question. I mean, people have dedicated their entire life, like adult academic life, to answering these questions. And I am by no means going to say that my value theory and my moral theory are going to stay the same throughout my life. Now, what I would like to preface this by is that there's this idea of a grand unified theory of philosophy or whatnot, or ethics. I think ethics is the right term here. And it's just saying that it's the idea that there's some moral plus value theory out there that works for everybody, for every single human. I fundamentally just disagree with that because I think it's so easy to find exceptions to any moral / value theory. So I'm not going to sit here on my hill and say, I know the answers to the meaning of life, and I know what everyone should value, and I know how everyone should live their life. All I can speak from is what I value right now and how I am and what guides my decisions right now. Okay? So, let's just dive right into this one. I think, well, I guess we can start with the value theory. Right now, this is hard. I'm doing this off the dome. I low-key have not thought about this. I've thought about it a little bit, but I'm doing this shit off the dome. So if I say something that sounds stupid, it probably is because it's stupid. So bear with me. My value theory. So what do I value? I think that in some, maybe if you boil it all down, I am just a person that is guided by pleasure and the absence of pain. Okay? Today, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Today, was a horrible, horrible day for my diet and for like building the body that I want. Okay, I ate like shit, like really bad today. I mean, I guess this is just like a sobering moment. I'll just say what I ate. Just make fun of me in the comments, bro. Just call me fat in the comments. I was weak today. I had chicken tenders and fries. I had a piece of pizza, a bag of Cheetos, a bag of Doritos, a bag of like Dorito sticks, a bag of Takis. Oh my fuck, holy shit. A bag of Skittles. Oh my God. A Diet Coke, another Diet Coke, a Monster Energy. My mom's homemade cooking. Yeah, holy shit. Damn. Yeah, I ate like crap today. I guess I'm not afraid to admit it. And today at the gym, I low-key did like 2 sets of dumbbell, what's it called? Dumbbell fly, no, not dumbbell flies. Oh my God. What? Dumb press? The funk? What is it called? Chest press? No, what? And I'm just blanking on the word. You know, freaking flat bench dumbbell, like fucking this movement, bro, pushing it up and down for my chest. And I did them, and then I was like, fuck this, I'm so tired. I didn't like this pain, and I just gave up. Today was a very bad day, okay? Today was just, I had a low-key, like a shit day today, okay? I'm gonna be completely honest. I gave up instantly at the gym because I just fucking felt so bad. And then I ate like crap the entire rest of the day. Now, what was my guiding principles? What was my value theory there? It seems on the surface that I just valued my in the moment pleasure and absence of pain. I gave up instantly at the gym and I ate a shit ton of food because it felt good in the moment. Now, even like this is like, I had a bag of chips 30 minutes ago. Not even, 25 minutes ago, okay? Because, I don't know, man. Honestly, I think I'm just addicted to food. People, like, will make fun of you. Like, they'll be like, bro, just, like, lock in and just don't eat food and, like, blah, 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 it's so easy. No, the fuck it ain't. I've been a fat ass my entire life. And I eat like a fat ass, and I crave like a fat ass. And I don't know, man. I was just craving shit, and I just gave in. Like, I wanted that instant pleasure. So maybe John Mills was right. That it's just pleasure what we want. Now, that's my instant reaction when hearing John Stuart Mill's argument about hedonism and utilitarianism and how it's all just about pleasure, pleasure, pleasure. I find the instant gut reaction is that no way are humans that simple, right? Like, we are more complex than just simply wanting pleasures and not wanting pain. And okay, just for a rundown, if you're not in the know, John Stuart Mills, not the founder of utilitarianism, but definitely one of like the revolutionaries of the idea, where he basically argued that there is a hierarchy to pleasure. Okay, so like there are some pleasures that are better than others, and he said that humans like an action is good in so as an action has moral, like how do I describe this? An action has moral value in so much as it increases pleasure or decreases pain. Okay, so those are the only two things that matter when it comes to weighing the worth of actions for him. And it's called like the greatest happiness principle. It's basically just saying optimize happiness and optimize a decrease in pain. That's what it is. And in my head, I want to believe that I'm not that shallow or I'm not that simple. I think if you look at it, you know, utilitarianism gets kind of interesting when you look at when you add in the time variable, right? Because, dude, like I said, hour ago I had my last bag of chips or whatever, right? I feel like shit right now. Mentally, I'm going through some pain, I'm not gonna lie. Like, in my brain, I'm like, why the fuck did I eat so much fucking food today? This is like a terrible day for my diet. I'm supposed to be cutting. I want to be leaner. And I'm gonna feel like shit like tonight when I take my shirt off and I have to look at myself in the mirror and see the little fucking fat on my stomach and see the little freaking love handles. Okay? I'm not gonna feel good. So, you know, I wanted pleasure. Although, in Mills's defense, gluttony and like eating a bunch of food is very low on the hierarchy of pleasure. So, you know, but still, I sacrificed my future pleasure for temporary pleasure, right? Obviously, I've never had a six-pack in my life, or a visible six-pack. I think everyone has the muscles there, but I've never had I have never been lean enough where you can see that I fucking am leaned out, right? I've never in my life. So I can't speak to how much pleasure I will get from that, but I would assume that I would get more pleasure from being freaking ripped and looking shredded than eating like a bag of freaking Takis, okay? And yet, in the moment today, I chose, hypothetically, I chose the Takis over the nice body. So that leads me to believe that my value theory, what I place my values on, is not necessarily only happiness and the absence of pain. So, long-winded way of saying, I don't think it's that, although it could be. So then what do I value? I think I value... I definitely value people around me. Okay? If you know me, I'm I like to say that, or I believe that I see the best in people. I think that I value having good people around me. But it's hard. I don't know if that, I guess I do. I value having good people around me. Which, can you just boil that down to pleasure? Because I get pleasure from them? The more I think about it, right, and this is not just the last 10 minutes of me talking. I've thought about this a lot in the last few weeks about utilitarianism and blah, 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 greatest happiness principle. And the only exceptions I think of when it comes to is this true? Do humans only operate off of pleasure? I think of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which basically just this thought experiment about how humans need certain needs have to be met for other needs to be unlockable, if that makes sense. So you have to have a safe space to sleep and shelter and food and good health and an education. All these kind of needs have to be met for you to eventually be able to self-actualize. That's the goal, is to self-actualize. However, there are a plethora of cases of people who sacrifice their lower needs for this higher good of self-actualization, which in the context of Mills might be these people sacrifice lower pleasures for the highest pleasure, right? But that's not a counter-argument, right? It's not saying something someone that's a Navy SEAL goes through immense physical pain. And I'm sure lots of mental fatigue and, training and all this, being away from home, being away from family. And yet, for them, the highest pleasure they could get might be saving someone or, working in the special ops environment. And then you would have to say that Mills is right. That this is another thing that he says. Mills argues that any amount of a higher pleasure, right, is greater than any amount of a lower pleasure. So if we say, eating a cheeseburger is 1 point, plus 1 point in pleasure. you could have 1,000,000 points that are made up of eating 1,000,000 cheeseburgers, but he says that having 1 point from enjoying fine art outweighs those 1,000,000 points from the burgers. That's what Mill says. And you gotta see that that's kind of true in the real world circumstance, where you have people who, in the goal of self-actualization, sacrifice their physical needs, their mental needs, purposely choose to endure pain to get a higher pleasure. And I mean, because like I said, my gut reaction to Mills is that, nah, come on, we're not that simple. The more and more you think about it, man, like, I become more and more of like, you know, man, this is kind of making some sense here. And honestly, Mills's like rhetoric is kind of, first of all, it's pretentious. I think that he's very pretentious. Also, his like parts of his arguments that are like some of his arguments are kind of just like, that's not, like, he just makes these kind of broad claims that are like hard to just disprove. Like, he says, like, first of all, he ranks the pleasures, right? Which, it's hard to, it's hard for me to just be like, you know what, yeah, eating a cheeseburger is always going to be less pleasure than looking at fine art, okay? I'm a person who loves both, okay? And this ain't no performativeness. I deadass like art, okay? I'm deadass an art enjoyer. I like going to museums. I like looking at art, okay? I went to the MFA like a month and a half, like 2 months ago. It's like during the summer, end of summer. Went to the MFA, Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, with my aunt, and they had this amazing Van Gogh section. Exhibit it was of all his portraits. It was crazy. It was like, I don't know. You got to see Van Gogh in person, man. It's stunning. But will I sit there and be like, yeah, man, that Van Gogh was better? Like, me looking at those Van Goghs, again, coming from a person who genuinely has an appreciation for art, I'm not going to sit there and be like, yeah, me going to that exhibit was better than eating. Like, I'm about to pass Five Guys, bro. Five Guys makes a fucking mean-ass burger, okay? And obviously this is like one situation, and this might be just, it's kind of extenuating circumstances here, because when I went to the MFA, I was getting super sick during the Van Gogh exhibit. Like, my nose was literally running as I'm staring into Van Gogh's eyes, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, this is, like, obviously the paintings were wonderful, but I think me being, like, really sick kind of took away from the experience. And I've never been super sick and eaten a Five Guys burger. So, but still, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I don't super agree with the whole ranking of the pleasures. But I think to some extent, when you look at it individualistically, right, stuff that is a higher pleasure for one person, I think his principles hold true. Where someone will choose to enjoy or to experience pleasures that they consider to be of the highest order over any amount of pleasure that they have from lower order things, right? And now that might just be the key to the whole physique thing. Like I said before, I've never experienced having a six-pack, being able to take my shirt off and not think I'm a fat fuck and that I'm fucking chopped, right? I've never, like, first of all, I've never once in my life been looked at myself in a mirror and thought I was skinny. That's one thing. I've also very rarely, like, sometimes I'll be like looking in the mirror and be like, dang, I'm kind of fine as hell. But 99% of the time, I look in the mirror and I think I'm chopped, okay? So I don't have the pleasure of looking into the mirror and seeing, like, someone that I like to see, right? I don't have that pleasure yet. So it's easy for me to choose the lower order pleasure, even though the higher order pleasure might be looking amazing in the mirror, right? But if I'm operating under Mill's assumptions, it's hard for me to choose to undergo the pain of not having the lower order pleasures for an unknown pleasure, right? Because I don't know what I'm going to feel like when I look at myself in the mirror and I like what I see. I can assume that it would feel great and it'll feel better than munching on a Five Guys burger. However, I don't know yet. It's still unknown. So in my mind, like if I'm operating underneath the moral theory of utilitarianism, then that's why I'm not choosing to undergo this pain, right? That makes sense? I hope that makes sense. Which honestly, I guess the more I think about it, I don't have my... That's another thing. Philosophy just like, it's hard to be original, okay? Like, obviously I didn't expect in the next, like 20 minutes ago for me to like discover some new fucking archaic like branch of philosophy and come up with the best moral theory and value theory ever known to mankind. But it's just hard to be original in philosophy because this shit is so fucking overdone. Like, Plato and shit was talking about this 2,000 plus years ago, okay? And now that brings me to another point, okay? I think that I'm a mix. See, now it's just like I'm paraphrasing other philosophers, and I feel like a fraud because, dude, these other philosophers are low-key smart as hell, and they be dropping bars, right? And like, you just agree with their bars because they know what they were doing and they're good at like rhetoric. So like, you just agree with them because it's like, yeah, this makes sense. Like, that's what just happened, me talking about Mills. Anyways, Plato. He argued for like, I think it was Plato, it might be like Aristotle. I think it was, I'm not sure. It was one of those like Greek dudes, you know what I'm saying? Just argues that the way you should guide yourself in life is to live a virtuous life. A life of virtue. And I hope to live a life of virtue, right? While maintaining the greatest happiness principle of pursuing happiness and avoiding pain, right? And I think that those can coincide together. Like, other day, I hit up CVS, and before I went to CVS, I got these brownies from the Village Market, which is like my local town market. I ate one of the brownies, and I was like, fuck, man, no way I'm gonna eat the rest of these brownies. Like, that's so fat of me. So I had one brownie. Then I went to CVS because I had to go get some I forgot what I was getting. I was getting like some shampoo or something, I think. Nah, I was getting something else. I forgot about it though. I deadass forgot about it though. I was getting something from CVS. Anyways, there was some homeless dude outside of CVS. And when I walk into the CVS, I'm like, that sucks that you're homeless, bruh. And I was thinking like, you know, I don't need these brownies no more, right? I bet this guy could fuck with some nice chocolate chip brownies. So I just gave him my brownies, okay? I felt good as hell. I felt like $1 million after I gave him those brownies. I was cheesing, okay? I was like, you enjoy these freaking brownies, sir. Or at first I was like, yo, would you want some brownies? He was like, yeah, man. I was like, bet, bro, here's these brownies, enjoy them. And then I felt good, okay? He felt good, I felt good. I felt like I was being pretty virtuous there. So I don't know, maybe those two like value theories can coincide together because it feels good to be nice, okay? And also like, I don't know, maybe like living a virtuous life, there's more to it and whatnot, but in my mind, living a virtuous life is like just living a wholesome and like very integrous life. So, I don't know. I guess that's my angle for that. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much else to say. I think that is the problem with philosophy, is that anything you say, it's very, very hard to be original, okay? Not many people are going to come up with original ideas in philosophy. Neither am I. I just think that my personal opinion is that you can't have one value theory that works for everybody, because some people genuinely undergo pain for zero. Actually, that's the thing. Maybe some people do, but I can't think of an example of someone that would actually undergo pain for no net positive on the pleasure. Maybe people do undergo pain to get zero pleasure for themselves, but they will do it to give pleasure to other people. Or they get pleasure themselves by pleasuring others. Okay, pause. That sounds wrong. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. Like what I just said. I gave away my brownies, you know. If I was like super, super attached to those brownies, that could have been like a sacrifice to me, right? And I went through like something painful to lose the brownies, but then I still feel good because I made the other guy feel good, right? So the all roads lead to freaking John Stuart Mills and him being right about utilitarianism. Well, I mean, utilitarianism I think is a little bit different than his greatest happiness principle. Utilitarianism is like more of well, now, okay, nowadays the connotation is like liberal and, you know, kind of like the basis for a lot of political and social systems that we have, like social services and, you know, healthcare and Medicaid and whatever the fuck, I don't know what it's called now. But yeah, like, it's kind of like utilitarianism was originally used as a foundation to argue for public services, okay, from my understanding. I'm not saying, I mean, I do believe in public services. I think that's like a broader question of like a social contract between a government and people. I think that, you know, people, we sacrifice our freedoms, you know, land of the free, sure, but we do sacrifice some freedoms for law and order, and part of that order, I believe, should be like social systems that work for everybody. But yeah, like, I don't know. But perhaps I am a utilitarianist. You know, now that I think about it, the greatest happiness principle. It's currently right now, it makes the most sense. Like, it does feel that my moral, like, the thing that is guiding my moral actions is like, just fucking, is just feeling good, right? And even like long-term things are just because I'm hoping that in the long term, I will get pleasure from the pain that I'm undergoing now. Because, you know, it's not every day that I'm not locked in on my diet. It's just today, and I'll do better. You know, just gotta tell myself tomorrow I'm gonna do better. I'm also gonna really try and get a good night's sleep today, because, like, it's so bad, man. My sleep is so bad, and it's really, really sad. Like sleep is so important, guys. And I was so tired today, and I get in these really bad moods when I'm super tired as well. And my brain, I'll give y'all like a little fun fact about moi, right? First of all, I haven't probably consistently gone to bed before 12 o'clock since like 5th grade. 5th grade, I think I was going to bed at like 10 o'clock, right? And past that, I just stayed up every night. Every single night, I stayed up. Every single night. I stayed up, man. I remember I used to play games on my Kindle Fire. I used to watch like freaking Avatar and these other stupid ass shows and just stay up really, really late every day. I regret it. I think that's, honestly, bro, I could have been so tall, man. I know I'm like 6'1", but like, bro, don't get me salivating over those extra inches, man. If I was sleeping good like 10 hours back in the day when it was like hitting my growth spurt and shit, my God, I'd be like 6'4". But if I was 6'4", don't even get me thinking, bro. If I was 6'4", bro, I wouldn't be alone right now. Okay? Let's just put it like that. Anyways, I stayed up really late all the time. And I like basically, especially in high school, I basically operated with brain fog. So I would place my mental capacity right now and during high school at like 65% during the day. I had to take a nap every single day because when I got home, I literally just dropped like that out every single day. Like during the school day and shit, I was just out. And low key, like, bro, I could have been a demon, bro. If I had 100% brain power, dude, my God, 100% brain power, bro. I was valedictorian on 65. Okay, you guys do the math, bro. If I was on 100% brain power, I could have been a demon. I could have been a fucking animal. But I made bad choices, and now I need to make good choices for myself. And I'm not. I'm still extremely tired. I have a raging headache right now, and I feel very dumb and very stupid and slow. And I have to go upstairs and actually, I got to read Immanuel Kant. And I have a mathematics worksheet due tomorrow, and I have a physics problem set due tomorrow. And the philosophy due tomorrow. Fuck, bro. Holy shit. It's so fucking... Well, this has been fun. Alright, bro. My phone cut out because I ran out of storage and fuck me, basically. But yeah. Maybe if I just ascend, I won't have to be smart. Like, look at those fucking eye bags, man. Look how fucking tired I am. Holy shit. I hate this feeling so much because I know, like, I could be so much smarter. I could be so... Everything could be more. You know, I could be doing more. But I'm not because I'm nerfing my own self, okay? It's pissing me off. But I don't know. It's been a fun conversation. I think it's interesting that right now, it feels like the only guiding principle for me is short-term pleasure. And I need to get over that and look at long-term pleasure. And then it's still interesting that the only thing that seems to drive me is my own pleasure, right? Holy pedophile stash. Wait, you have facial hair? Y'all see the beard coming in? Oh, fucking shitty-ass jawline, man. But yeah, I think it's interesting. Comment down below what you guys think. What you think your value theory is. Like, what do you place your value on? And what guides your decisions in life? These are kind of questions I feel like everyone should be asking themselves. Because I think it's easy to go about life kind of just drifting and not considering what you consider. It might sound like stupid and like, oh, it's so fucking... Philosophy is such a waste of time. I think grand scheme of things, there are very large problems with philosophy. Like, it is borderline just a waste of time, but it can be useful to be aware of what you believe in, at least, and be aware of like what drives you to make decisions. So I think it's an important kind of question to consider for yourself. But yeah, I don't know, nothing else to say today. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hopefully I get all my work done and go to sleep at a good hour. Probably not, but I'll try my best. And yeah, guys, peace out. Yeah.